What does it really take to survive 26 days out there on a deserted island? Especially when, the entire world is watching your every single move, every whisper, every strategic blunder.
It's a question that's hooked millions for, what, decades now. It's this unique human experiment just playing out right on our screens.
Exactly. And that's precisely what we're plunging into today on the deep dive. Welcome, everyone. We're taking an exclusive look under the hood, you could say, at the hidden mechanics and the untold stories of Survivor.
Yeah, because this isn't just some run-of-the-mill TV show. It's like this pressure cooker for social dynamics. It's a massive physical test. And really, at its heart, it's a strategic game like nothing else.
Absolutely.
And for this deep dive, we've really pulled together some pretty unique stuff. We've got exclusive Q&As with recent contestants from season 46. We're talking Kenzie, Hunter, Banu.
Oh, wow. So straight from the source.
Exactly. Really unfiltered, firsthand insights into what it's actually like to play in the modern game. Plus, we've got commentary straight from the man himself, Jeff Probst.
The show.
Yep. And a whole bunch of, analysis from dedicated fans, media outlets, all trying to figure out these huge shifts Survivor has gone through in what everyone now calls the new era.
Okay, so our mission today, we want to go way beyond just, the tribal council drama and the campfire chats.
Right.
We want to unpack what this new era truly means. We'll dissect everything from the big production changes, the shifts in gameplay, right down to the raw daily life and the intense psychological stuff these castaways face.
What actually surprises the players? The ones who think they've got it all figured out.
Yeah. What makes the current game tick? What pushes them to their limits? And maybe most importantly, what does all this mean for you, the person watching season after season?
Get ready for some surprises, definitely. Maybe a few aha moments along the way.
Let's really dig into this.
All right, so first things first, let's define this new era. It's a term Jeff Probst himself started using, and it signals a really deliberate, almost like philosophical shift for the show.
Yeah, it's not just a new season number, it feels like a whole new chapter. Or like you said, a whole new book.
Exactly. It officially started with season 41. That was after that huge 16-month break, remember? The pandemic pause after Winners at War, season 40.
Oh, I remember. And Probst had that line, didn't he? Drop the 4, keep the 1. This is a new era of Survivor. It felt really significant.
Totally. And it wasn't just, for the promos. It meant real permanent changes were happening in production. Stuff that started because of COVID restrictions. But now it's just how the show is.
That's the fascinating part, isn't it? That these things forced by the pandemic weren't just temporary fixes, they actually kept them.
Yeah, they made a conscious decision. This temporary solution became the permanent, deliberate evolution of the game. And that decision, it fundamentally changed the structure of Survivor in ways that, ripple through everything.
Yeah.
The gameplay, the player experience, everything.
Okay, so let's break down those key structural changes, because they really dictate why and how the game is played now. I mean, the most obvious one, the one everyone talks about, has to be the shorter game, right?
Oh, absolutely. Going from that classic, grueling 39 days down to this much faster 26-day sprint.
And why? Was it purely logistics?
Well, Probst has been pretty clear. He said the 26-day thing was born out of necessity, straight up. COVID protocols, other restrictions. He called it a good compromise, just to keep the show going.
Okay, a compromise.
But he's also been really emphatic that they're not going back to 39 days anytime soon. He argues there's plenty of room to explore within this shorter time frame.
Implying they like it this way now, or at least they're comfortable with it.
Seems like it. It suggests they feel they can still innovate and create compelling TV within 26 days.
So what's the real impact of shaving off almost 2 weeks? I mean, that's got to change how players approach strategy, alliances, even just physically managing it all.
Oh, it creates a massively faster pace. No question. Probst even said he wants to lean into the pace and add even more. What that translates to is way less of what they used to call festering downtime.
Festering. Okay, explain that.
In the old 39-day game, you'd often have these long stretches, like 36, 48 hours, maybe even longer, with nothing happening. No challenges, no tribal council, just waiting.
And that was deliberate.
Totally deliberate. It let players get inside their own heads. Paranoia would creep in. Alliances might subtly crack, or deep bonds could form or break. It was slow burn psychological stuff.
Okay, I see. So less time for that slow burn now.
Exactly. Without those long periods for reflection or, for things to just decay naturally, the psychological game is different. It's less about watching someone slowly unravel over weeks and weeks.
And more about?
More about rapid-fire social maneuvering, Constant adaptation. Players have to make quicker reads, snap judgments. They often have to use advantages fast before they expire. It makes the game arguably more fluid, maybe more unpredictable.
But maybe less deep character arcs. Less time to really get to know someone's journey.
That's the debate. You could argue it's less like a sprawling novel now and more like a series of intense, high-stakes short stories all linked together.
That's a great way to put it. So how do fans feel about that? Does losing the festering actually make a difference to the average viewer? Or is it just us nerds who notice?
Well, it really depends on what you watch Survivor for, right? Some superfans definitely miss it. They argue it limits the potential for those really deep conversations and relationships that took 39 days to build. They feel character development suffers.
But others?
Others argue that, look, the typical viewer might not even notice the day count difference if it wasn't on the screen. For many, it's about the strategy, the blind sides, the drama at Tribal.
And that stuff is still there.
Absolutely. It's just happening faster. Production still crafts compelling stories, showcases big personalities. The drama just unfolds at, warp speed sometimes.
Right. Okay, another huge change tied to logistics, how they actually film the seasons now.
Yes. They film them back to back. 2 seasons per year, boom, boom, and they use the exact same beaches in Fiji.
The same beaches.
Yep. And what's really interesting, and something fans definitely discuss, is that they often share rule sets, even specific advantages, between those 2 consecutive seasons.
So season 46 might have had similar twists to season 45.
Potentially, yeah. It definitely makes production more efficient, saves money, but it can make things feel a bit predictable if you're watching really closely.
And it could give players on the second season of that pair a slight edge if they studied the first one.
That's the theory, absolutely.
Okay, and then the reunion show. Or rather, the lack of one. That live studio reunion was such a staple.
Gone. Now, Jeff reads the votes right there on the island, immediately after Final Tribal. And then they have this instant after show on the beach with Jeff, the jury, the finalists. Pizza, apparently.
Pizza. While the runners-up are processing losing $1 million.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was another COVID-era change they made permanent, mostly for cost savings. But the impact on the players, well, it can be seen as, like one contestant said, needlessly cruel for the people who just lost.
Wow, 0 time to decompress.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And Banu, from season 46, he was pre-jury. He confirmed that in the new era, the pre-jury folks, they're not even part of that final tribal council anymore, or the party afterwards. Once you're out pre-merge, you're kind of done with the immediate Survivor bubble.
That is a massive shift from the old era. I remember hearing everyone used to fly out for the live show.
They did.
Yeah.
And reportedly, everyone got paid like $10,000 just for showing up to that reunion, no matter where they placed.
10 grand just to show up. Okay, that explains why even people who hated their edits still came.
Exactly. It incentivized attendance. So the whole post-game experience, financially, emotionally, it's completely different now. That safety net, that chance for public closure in a studio setting, it's gone.
More raw, immediate reactions on the beach, but maybe less perspective.
Potentially, yeah. Okay, shifting gears slightly, but still under structural changes.
Yeah.
Survival itself, the actual, surviving part. No more automatic rice and beans.
Right. That was a huge change. Now they have to actively earn pretty much everything. There's this increased focus on making players earn everything, like no flint for fire unless you win it in a challenge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here's the twist. The actual survival challenge seems lessened in some ways.
How so?
Production provides loads of coconuts now at the camps and materials for shelters, often given as pre-cut piles of bamboo or whatever. They don't have to chop things down themselves.
Oh, okay. Why the change there?
Mostly fixed filming locations and ecological concerns. They don't want tribes deforesting the place every season.
Back to location.
But the result is sometimes tribes don't even bother building super elaborate shelters. If they're losing challenges, they might just sleep on the sand unless it pours rain.
So the focus shifts away from who's the best shelter builder or forager.
And more towards purely strategic and social gameplay. You're not necessarily winning because you're Bear Grylls out there. You win by playing the game better.
Okay. And the challenges themselves. How have those iconic competitions changed for the 26-day game?
Well, reward and immunity. Almost always combined now. Just not enough time for separate ones as often.
Right. Consolidates things.
And the design philosophy's changed too. Those super long, drawn-out endurance challenges like get a grip, hanging on the pole for hours.
Yeah, those are epic.
They've been modified. They're shorter now, more dramatic for TV, Probst even joked that Get a Grip will keep changing until there are basically no footholds left.
Ah, so less about pure willpower over hours and hours.
And more about maybe strategic endurance or quick bursts of effort, things that give you faster results, more exciting TV moments, arguably.
Okay, let's dive into the gameplay itself, the twists, the advantages, because the new era feels like it took the trend from the 30 seasons and just, like you said, dialed it up to 11.
Oh, absolutely. The sheer number and complexity of advantages now.
Yeah.
It keeps players constantly off balance. They're reacting to new twists, new powers, rather than just relying on their social game or long-term plans.
Does that take focus away from the relationship sometimes? All these trinkets and rules?
Yeah, as a criticism you hear, yeah. It can shift viewer focus onto deciphering the latest advantage rather than the subtle social dynamics.
Yeah.
Players have to be incredibly adaptable because the game state can change drastically from one moment to the next. It forces a really fluid, reactive style of play.
And we've got these new mechanics that seem standard now, like the shot in the dark.
Right. Every L player gets one per tribal. It's a 1 in 6 chance at immunity, but you have to give up your vote to play it.
So it's a gamble.
It's a huge gamble. But it's not just a last resort. It's a strategic tool. You can threaten to play it, even if you don't, just to make the majority nervous. It really messes with the vote calculus.
Creates uncertainty. And what about the journeys?
Those are pretty standard now, too. One player from each tribe goes off to some separate island, chance at an advantage, maybe a dilemma. The details change, but the core idea is there.
And that forces tricky social situations back at camp.
Totally. Do you trust the person who went? What do they really get? Do you target them? It's designed to create immediate social pressure and strategic possibilities.
These things definitely force interaction. But okay, the 3-tribe format. Always starting with 3 tribes of 6. Probst says it leaves nowhere to hide, but I've heard fans complain.
Yeah, the criticism is that because there are usually no tribe swaps before the merge, and the pre-merge is so short, you get very few interactions between people on different original tribes.
Right. And it can make early boots feel predictable, based purely on challenge strength.
That's the argument. Smaller tribes mean losing challenges hurts more. Perceived physical weakness can become a huge target, especially for women, if a tribe keeps losing. The lack of swaps means alliances form within that initial 6 and just stay that way.
So the pre-merge can feel a bit static, maybe, less about deep strategy, more about just not losing.
That's a frequent point, yeah. It can feel less like a social game early on and more about who helped you win the next challenge, especially with how physical some early challenges are.
Okay, switching gears to life on the island, what about communication? Can players strategize off-camera? Hunter from 46 mentioned these lockdowns.
Yeah, he confirmed it's pretty strict. When cameras aren't rolling, like when they're being transported somewhere, the crew asks them to be quiet. If they need to talk or move, they have to tell the crew so it can be filmed.
Wow. Always on.
Pretty much. But it makes sense from a production standpoint, right? They don't want to miss a crucial conversation or a secret alliance forming when the cameras are off. It ensures authenticity for us watching.
True. Gotta capture everything. And physically dealing with the hunger, Hunter said something surprising about how the body adjusts.
He did. He was surprised how quickly the body adapts to not eating. He said the initial, intense hunger pangs, they get met with adrenaline. Then the body goes into this low-energy mode where the feeling of hunger actually lessens.
Really? It gets easier?
Not easier, but that specific gnawing sensation might change. It's still debilitating, drains your energy. But the acute feeling of hunger might adapt faster than you'd think. Still very real deprivation, though.
Fascinating. And idol hunting, we see players searching constantly on TV, but Banu said he only looked that one time we saw.
Yeah, that was revealing, wasn't it? Shows how editing can create an impression. Hunter, though, said he did look quite a bit around day 7 to 9, even openly with his tribe for a couple of days. He said it's very difficult and very real.
So it varies a lot by player. Kenzie, the winner, didn't find one, but saw Tiff find hers.
Right. So idol hunting is definitely real, definitely hard, but how much effort each person puts in and what gets shown can differ wildly. Those things are well hidden.
Okay, let's pivot now to maybe the most compelling part. The human element, the casting, the actual day-to-day experience. How has that changed in the new era?
This is a huge area of change. First off, casting philosophy. CBS brought in that mandate for at least 50% non-white casts on their reality shows.
Right, the diversity initiative.
Exactly. So Survivor casts are much more racially and LGBTQ plus diverse now, which has been widely seen as a really positive, important step. Brings more perspectives to the game.
Absolutely. Long overdue. But alongside that, some people have noted a shift in age.
Yeah, that's the other side of the demographic coin. There's been a noticeable trend away from casting players over 50.
Hmm.
Like, only 4 exceptions across the first 6 New Era seasons, none over 60, and very few even in their 40s.
Mm. And the concern there is?
Some fans feel it leads to a cast that's maybe strangely uniform in terms of life experience or personality archetypes, that it might diminish that classic social experiment vibe of wildly different worlds colliding, different generations clashing.
So gaining diversity in one crucial area, but potentially losing some intergenerational friction or variety in life stages. Interesting point.
It's definitely a discussion point. And Jeff Probst himself talks about focusing on fun with New Era players. He said the season 46 cast were big personalities, taking the game to a new level. He was smiling every day filming them.
So a deliberate move towards more aspirational, maybe? Less intensely hostile?
Seems that way. Trying to tamp down some of the really bitter personal attacks you saw in older seasons. Make it more family-friendly. Focus on the strategy and the personalities. Less on the really ugly interpersonal stuff. Keep it competitive, but maybe less vicious.
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty of island life. The filming. Bonu said there were always like 4 or 5 camera people around.
Yeah, he met them on the island, always around camp. Didn't recall names, which tells you how overwhelming everything else must be. But that constant presence is key to capturing everything. Players are always aware they're being watched.
And Kenzie, the winner, she said something really powerful about authenticity, that it was real, no producer interference.
Yes, she was surprised to find out how real it actually is, saying there were no organized conversations like you might see on other reality shows. She felt it was very organic.
That's huge. It confirms that the strategy, the alliances, the betrayals, it's genuinely unfolding without being prompted or staged.
Absolutely. It reinforces Survivor's claim to being a true social experiment, unlike maybe some other reality formats where things might be guided a bit more.
Good to hear. Okay, personal hygiene, or lack thereof. What are they actually given?
Almost nothing. Sunscreen, which has bug repellent mixed in, and tampons for women. That's basically
So
it.
razors, no soap?
Nope. Kenzie's practical tip: get a wax before you go. And washing clothes is a nightmare. Depends entirely on having fire to dry them. Kenzie said she often just didn't wash stuff because sleeping cold and wet was worse.
Oh my God.
And you only get the clothes you start with. That's it for the whole game.
Wow. So it's not just strategy and challenges, it's this constant grinding discomfort. How does that affect people psychologically?
Hugely. Kenzie's advice to future players was profound. Stay true to yourself, and it's a lot harder than you think it's going to be. She also mentioned the pressure of being in the public eye afterwards is massive.
Yeah, the post-show scrutiny must be intense.
And Banu, when he got to Ponderosa after being voted out, he coped by swimming constantly, called it his therapy. It gives you a sense of the immense stress and then the relief, even mixed with disappointment. The mental game is often the toughest part.
Ponderosa. Let's talk about that. The place where voted-out players wait. What's life like there? Especially for the jury.
Well, first there's strict segregation. Pre-jury folks like Banu are kept totally separate from the jury members. Got to protect the game integrity, right? No leaking info.
Makes sense. And for the jury members, is it just chillin'?
Hunter described it as a very structured routine. Lots of great food, apparently pancakes were mentioned, watching cartoons, activities like working out, Bible study, games, kayaking, basically filling time between meals.
So not exactly a luxury resort, but structured downtime. Can they leave? Go sightseeing?
Nope. Strictly forbidden from leaving the Ponderosa property. No special trips like you might have seen way back in older seasons. It's still a sequestered environment.
Got it. And how do the jury members prepare for that crucial final tribal council? Do they know the order they'll speak?
Hunter said nope. Jeff calls on them randomly.
Huh.
No pre-planned order. They're definitely told to think about questions beforehand, but when they actually speak, it's up to Jeff in the moment.
Adds pressure. Gotta be ready anytime.
Exactly. Keeps them engaged.
And the jury deliberation itself at Ponderosa, that's where they really hash things out, right? Especially distinguishing between strategic lies and, like, bad lies.
Yes, and this is crucial. Rachel Lamont, a winner herself, explained it really well. Jurors expect game-related lying, bluffing, misleading, hiding info that's part of Survivor. That's good gameplay.
Uh,
But they will not respect lying for non-game reasons, or lies that get needlessly personal or malicious. They talk at Ponderosa, they compare notes, they consider the manner of delivery, how it was used. If they feel someone lied cruelly or unnecessarily, that person's probably not getting their vote.
wow. So there's this unspoken code almost. Play hard, lie strategically, but don't be a jerk about it.
That's a pretty good summary.
Yeah.
The jury acts like this collective judge of not just who played best, but how they played.
Mm.
They lived it too, remember?
Yeah.
So they respect the game, but also a certain level of, game integrity. It's not just about strategy. It's about the way you execute that strategy.
That dynamic where they're parsing game moves versus character, it's fascinating. They're basically deciding who's worthy of the money based on this internal code.
Exactly. They're the ultimate arbiters. They saw it all unfold. They felt the impact of the finalists' moves. So at Ponderosa, they dissect. It was that betrayal necessary. Was that lie strategic or just mean?
No.
Their collective judgment decides who gets the million, and it's often about more than just counting advantages played.
Okay, let's talk about that $1 million, the grand prize. Everyone's fighting for the title, sole survivor, and that check. But you don't actually walk away with $1 million, do you?
Not even close.
Yeah.
That's the big, often overlooked reality. Federal, state taxes, they take a massive chunk. Remember Richard Hatch, season 1 winner?
Oh, yeah, the tax evasion?
He served nearly 3 years in prison for not paying his taxes on the prize.
Mm.
That, plus legal fees, basically wiped out the winnings. It's a serious reminder. Big prize, big tax bill.
Incredibly, that $1 million figure hasn't changed since 2000, except for one season.
Right, season 40, Winners at War. That had a $2 million jackpot. But that was a special case, a decision by CBS leadership, specifically Kelly Call, who wanted to make the All Winners season extra special.
But otherwise, it's been $1 million since day one, basically. Hasn't kept up with inflation at all.
Not at all. Which is why, as some experts point out, the real prize isn't just the cash anymore. It's the media exposure, the attention capital.
Ah, so contestants can leverage their fame afterward.
Exactly. Sponsorships, social media, YouTube. They can monetize being on the show, even if they don't win the million. It's a platform.
Makes sense. There's value beyond the check. And speaking of money, all contestants get paid something, right? Based on how long they last.
Correct. Corinne Kaplan, a former player, confirmed this. There's a set pot of money for the season, apparently. So more players might mean slightly less per person.
And how does it scale?
The first person voted out gets maybe around $2,500. It increases incrementally. But the big jump comes when you make the jury. Then the payout reportedly goes up by about $10,000 for each spot higher you place, roughly speaking, excluding the winner.
So making the jury is a significant financial milestone.
Definitely.
And back in the old era, with the live reunions, there was that extra $10K just for showing up.
Yeah, Kaplan mentioned that flat $10,000 fee was specifically to ensure everyone came, even if they were bitter or had issues. It guaranteed a full cast for the finale show.
Smart business. Okay, we absolutely have to talk about the Sia Prize. That was such a unique thing.
Totally unique. A celebrity fan, the singer Sia, just deciding out of the blue in 2016 to give her own money to contestants she liked.
Usually ones who played with heart or got unlucky.
Often, yeah. It started with $50 to Tai Trang. Over 8 years, 14 seasons, she gave away over $1 million of her own money to 19 different players. 7 players got $100,000 each, like Rick Devens, Carolyn Wigger, Jesse Lopez. Fan favorite.
Yeah, it's incredibly generous.
Yeah.
And just wild. A fan creating their own reward system outside the show.
Absolutely wild. Added this whole other layer of hope and appreciation for players. But that era is over now, right?
Yeah, sadly. Jeff Probst announced in May 2024, after season 46, that the Sia Prize officially ended. He thanked her profusely, called it one of the most unique relationships between a show and a pop star ever.
End of an era, for sure. A really cool fan-driven phenomena. The show is probably moving more towards its internal rewards now.
Okay, so looking back at the most recent season, season 46, Probst called it the 6th iteration of this new era and sounded super enthusiastic about it.
He really did. He said the cast had big personalities who were taking the game to a new level, found them funny, smiled every day filming. That says a lot.
And they had those longer episodes at the start. 2 hours for the premiere and the second episode.
Yeah, that was a deliberate choice. Gave more time to get to know the players, show more camp life, which fans usually love. Let those personalities breathe a bit more early on.
And the players themselves. They called the game a sprint. Advised future players to follow your instinct, just go play, risk it, or go home.
Totally reinforces that faster pace, right? The 26-day format pushes a more aggressive, go-for-broke mentality. There was even buzz that 46 might be the best season of the new era because of its complexity and gameplay.
It definitely had people talking. And one thing that got a lot of talk, even though it was cut, was that Mat Chat opening. What was that?
Ah, yes. It was this extended scene right at the start. Probst just firing these random kind of absurd questions at the castaways on their mats.
Yeah.
Like an appetizer for their personalities.
What kind of questions?
Oh, like, how do you handle a smelly sponge? Venus deadpanned, I use the dishwasher. Or, punching yourself in the face doesn't mean you're strong or weak. Mariah just said, it means you're a dumbass.
Uh-huh. Instant character reveals.
Exactly. Quick, funny insights.
Mhm.
Or asking about their theme songs. Hunter chose Can't Stop the Feeling. But then Kenzie spontaneously said happy birthday, and the whole cast sang happy birthday to Jeff.
Oh, that's great, even if it got cut.
Yeah, it showed the cast's humor and vibe right away. Even though it didn't air, it gave production and fans who heard about it this immediate sense of who these people were before the game even started.
Those unscripted moments are gold. But, okay, the new era hasn't been perfect. There have been controversies, criticisms, especially around women being voted out early in seasons 43 and 44.
Yeah, that was a really troubling trend and a big discussion point.
Yeah.
In those two seasons, almost all the pre-merge boots were women.
Why? What was the thinking there?
Analysts point to the structure. Small, three-person tribes, super physical early challenges, and no tribe swaps. It created this perfect storm where tribes felt they had to keep perceived physical strength to survive, and that disproportionately targeted women early on.
So it wasn't necessarily individual bias, but the game design pushing that outcome.
Largely, yes. And it got worse because players in 43 and 44 had seen it happen in 41 and 42.
Yeah.
They understood the format incentivized keeping challenge beasts early on, so they leaned into it even harder.
Oh, wow. So they were metagaming the format's weakness.
Pretty much. The only men voted out pre-merge in season 44 were due to injuries. It highlighted a real systemic issue in that specific format setup that unintentionally disadvantaged women early. Even Probst acknowledged it needed looking at.
Definitely something to be aware of. And beyond that, the criticism about survival skills feeling watered down, stale.
Yeah, that's the other debate.
Well-
Some purist fans feel the new era has lost that raw survival edge. They point to the provided coconuts, the pre-cut bamboo having to earn flint.
They miss the old school struggle.
Yeah. But others argue, hey, streamlining the basic survival stuff lets the show focus more on the strategy, the social dynamics, maybe leads to fewer bitter jury votes based on who worked hardest at camp, and more votes based on actual gameplay.
So it's a trade-off. Depends what you value most as a viewer, the survival aspect or the strategic game.
Exactly. It's a clear evolution. Whether you see it as positive or negative depends on your perspective.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. We've gone deep into these huge transformations in Survivor's new era. The faster 26-day game, no live reunions, different casting, all the twists. It's clear that while the core idea outwit, outplay, outlast is the same, the whole experience, it's drastically different for players and for us watching.
Absolutely. And hopefully, understanding these behind-the-scenes mechanics, the player experiences, the format changes, it reshapes how you watch the show, how you see the drama and the strategy play out.
So think about it. How might you play differently if you landed on that beach today, knowing all this about the new era? How would the shorter game, the advantages, the casting trends affect your strategy?
Oh, that's the question, isn't it?
Mhm.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. In this world obsessed with short-form content, instant results, the Survivor's new era, with its faster pace and focus on big moments, just reflect a necessary change to stay relevant.
Or does it risk losing some of that deeper, slower, more profound, festering human experiment that made the early seasons so iconic? Something to definitely think about until we see that next torch get lit.